today we have to start working with the HTML, right? That means we are going to first learn in full stack. We are going to learn, we will classify into two categories. We are going to learn front end and back end. Front end web development and back end web development. And in front end web development, so first we are starting with HTML. So what is HTML and how this HTML works? So how we can use this HTML for building web pages, we will learn. So one point I told you that HTML is used for both static pages and dynamic pages. So we are going to deal with both concepts, static and dynamic, how to handle. First, we will go with the static pages, okay? So for that, you need to understand what is HTML and how the concept of HTML works for us, right? So technically, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So what is HTML? How to work with it? Step by step, we will see. I will give you a just introduction about the basic history actually. The first question here, you need to understand what is hypertext. Already I explained you the word hyper. Hyper means beyond. In English, that is beyond. So that means hypertext resembles the text that contains content beyond what we see. That means hypertext is nothing but hypertext contains, so or you can say hypertext resembles. Hypertext resembles text that contains content beyond what we see. That is why it is called as hypertext. For example, I will show you a simple one. I go to Notepad. In Notepad help or professionally, I will show you a website itself. Suppose I opened www.amazon.in. So now you are watching some screen. Now tell me, is this only the content present in this website? What do you say? Is this only the content present in this website? Is this only the content present in website? That means currently you are watching something on screen. Is this only the content on that screen? No. So there is more beyond this. Am I right? There is more beyond this. How you can get that beyond this? How you can see what is beyond it? What do you say? How you can see what is beyond it? Yeah, very good. So what you can do by clicking on these topics, you can see what is beyond it. What is beyond it? I clicked on electronics. It will show what is beyond that word electronics. So many content is there. That means there is a lot of information which is beyond what you see. That means the document that you are currently watching is a hypertext document. This document is called hypertext document. So hypertext. So how this hypertext document is designed? Hypertext document is designed by using a markup language. Hypertext document is designed by using a markup language. What is meant by markup? I will show you a point about this. So what is markup. For example, observe here. Suppose we have a page. We have a page. Now, actually, this is suppose a page in MS Word. We have a software MS Word. And on this page have certain height and width, like 11 inches height and 8 inches width. That is the height and width. Now I have to print this. Suppose on this page, we are preparing some letter. On this page, we are designing some letter. So some letter we are designing. Now we have a printer and we have a paper. So we have a paper on that. We need to print that letter. But what is the concept here is, so the paper given to us, it may be some company letterhead. In that case, already on that paper, so the company logo and at the bottom, some address, contact details, and different letterheads have different size. It is having 10 inches height. So it is having 7 inches width. Now, the letterhead given to us is having a different size. And what we designed is in different size. Now, if I try to print this letter on this paper, can it print correctly? Can it print correctly on that paper? So what do you say? It cannot print correctly. Then what we have to do? So observe my terms, what I am saying. As a computer operator, if anyone asks what to do now, then we say that we have to mark up. We have to mark up the margins. We have to mark up the margins. Remember the word markup. We have to mark up the margins to present it correctly on paper. That means to present it correctly on paper, we need to mark up. So the word markup came from a general computer terminology called marking up. Marking up is nothing but, marking up means preparing for presentation. Preparing for presentation. We are preparing our content for presenting properly on the destination page or paper or somewhere. So marking up is a technique of preparing our content for proper presentation. So many people, generally many people or many websites you might have seen, some people say tag is called markup. Some people say angle brackets are called markup. That is all wrong. Markup is a general computer term. So we regularly use this. Marking up means preparing for presentation. We are preparing our content for presentation. So for example, observe carefully now. Let's open the project. We created a project. So let's go to our project. So our project is some front-end web application. Now in this project, the front-end web application project, here I have to create a page. So already I have created a page, index.html, in public folder, index.html. I am typing some content, welcome to HTML. Now, after writing this, save. Then right click in the page and select open with live server. So you installed live server plugin also, right? I told you you have to install live server. simply with right click, you will not get the live server. So you have to install live server plugin. Have you all installed that live server plugin also in Visual Studio Code? Yes. Yes. So then you have to right click and select open with live server. Open with live server. Then you can see that it opens in the live server and it is working. Sometimes you people will come with a complaint that, sir, I am opening on live server, but browser is not opening. Sometimes what happens, your browser may be having issue in loading automatically. So you can observe at the bottom of the screen. At the bottom of the screen, so you can see it is showing port number 5500. That means server is running, but it is unable to open the browser. So no worry. If it is unable to open the browser, what you have to do is you have to open browser, manually open browser and type http://localhost:5500. So this you enter manually and automatically you will get the page. That means you will get the website. So in that actually we have public folder, and in public folder automatically index.html will start. So that is the path of our index page actually. But if a folder contains index.html, then you just enter the folder name. Index.html automatically starts. So if browser closed then or not opening, then you can type in the browser http://localhost and 5500. You can see this is the project repository. In this project repository public, in the public index page, it opens automatically. And observe carefully. In this page, have I used any language? In this page, have I used any language? So without a language also, I can present my information. So many people will give you a wrong statement sometimes in some websites or some tutorials. The wrong statement is many times you will hear that people saying browser can understand only HTML language. That is the reason we have to use HTML. Have you heard the same point anytime? Right? Have you heard that browser can understand only HTML? That is why we have to use HTML. That is a wrong statement. Why? Because that is a wrong statement because browser can understand images. Browser can understand PDF documents. Browser can understand general text documents. So browser can understand different. For example, you see in the URL, I am opening assets. I am opening here, so some folder. You see, I have the folder. Observe assets. In assets folder, there is shoe.jpg. Browser can open image. So browser can open PDF documents. I click on PDF document also opens. So don't say that browser can understand only HTML. That's a wrong statement. Browser can even understand JSON also. It opens that package JSON also. Browser can understand several things. So that is not the concept. So the point is, you are watching this page. Without a language also we can present. So see what I am doing now. I am making this in the center. I am making this in the center. And so here, markup language. I made some changes. Markup language. I made some changes here. So welcome to HTML. and markup language. I made some changes here. And I will save this. I made some changes and saved it. Now, after that, when I go and refresh, you can see that output is not in the same way how we are expecting. So without a language also, we can present. But output will be not in the same way how we are expecting it. That is the reason. Now what we have to do? We have to mark up this content. We have to mark up this content to present it properly on the page as we are expecting. So that means according to our expectations, it should present. So that means we need to mark up this content. So I am marking up now. How you are marking up your information? So I will use any language. Suppose I am using a language HTML. So here align is center. And in that, I am keeping this content. That means we are marking up our information. We are marking up our information so that we can present it correctly on the paper. And we can put some markup here to present it properly on this page. So now tell me, what is the purpose of a markup language? What you understood? What is the purpose of a markup language? What is the purpose of a markup language? Tell me what you understood. What is the purpose of a markup language? So the purpose of a markup language. So good. Okay, good. Actually, the main purpose of a markup language is a presentation language. It is a presentation language. It is used to present the content on browser. So it is used to present the content on browser. Without markup language, can we present any content on browser? Without a markup language, can we present any content on browser? What do you say? Can we present any content on browser? Yes, we can present, but it will not be according to our expectations. According to our expectations. That is the reason here we have to use a markup language. So now if many times in interviews a question is asked, so what is difference between a programming language and markup language? What is difference between programming language and markup language? In many interviews they ask this question. Actually, programming language can handle interaction with user. Handle interaction with user means, so it can accept input. So it will process the request and it will send a response. This is what a programming language can do. It can accept the input, it will process the request, and it will send a response. So that is the ability of a programming language. Programming language have the ability of handling interaction with user. But presentation language can only present. It cannot process your request. It cannot generate a response for your request. It is only for presenting. So markup language is a language used for presentation. Hypertext markup language That means it is a language used for presenting hypertext documents. It is a language used for presenting hypertext documents. That's what actually the concept of hypertext markup language. Actually, before HTML, in the early 1960s, 1967, when first network was introduced, the first network was ARPANET. ARPANET is the name of first computer network. When the first computer network was introduced, a language was used for that was GML. So this GML is generic markup language. Generic markup language. It was developed at CERN laboratories, CERN labs, Council for European Research and Nuclear. We call it as CERN labs. CERN labs, so this was the major labs which produced several great people in the world who developed so very revolutionary softwares. From the CERN labs, Dennis Rich came from CERN labs, who invented a language called C. Dennis Rich, Kemp Thompson, these all people came from CERN labs. They worked at CERN labs. Steve Jobs worked at CERN labs. So Bill Gates worked at CERN labs. These all people came from the concept. Brendan Eich, person who developed JavaScript, so he came from CERN labs. So all these people belong to that CERN labs only. And it was the first language used for presentation, GML, generic markup language. After that, then came SGML, standard generic markup language. After that, in 1990, Tim Berners-Lee introduced a language, HTML, hypertext markup language, which is more lightweight and secured when compared to GML and SGML. He introduced this for web. So I told you the difference between internet and web. Internet is wide. So web is a portion of internet. We discussed the difference. And HTML was first introduced for a browser called Mosaic. Mosaic is the name of browser. First browser was Mosaic. After Mosaic, very popular browser is Netscape. Even today, all your browsers follow the standards of Netscape only. All your browsers follow the basic standards of Netscape. Netscape was very popular browser earlier. Mosaic is the name of the first browser. And Tim Berners-Lee introduced HTML in 1990. In 1990, Tim Berners-Lee, he introduced HTML. After that, he left it as open source. That means anybody can contribute and develop and make it more better. Then a group called IETF, Internet Engineering Task Force. In 1993, these people took the responsibility of HTML and developed several versions of HTML. What they have done is, in 1995, they introduced HTML second version, 2.0. In 1997, they introduced another version, 3.2, by adding some features into it, some additional changes. After that, 1997 only, in 1997, so during the October, November of 1997, they introduced HTML4 and which video, animations, graphics into web. Earlier, we don't have. Earlier, internet contains only text. After text, later it came with pictures and text. Then 4 was a revolution. It introduced so many concepts that web became very popular. That means people showed a lot of interest on internet from 1970s onwards, 1990s, 95 onwards. Why? Because HTML was able to present contents in a more effective way. Video, audio, animations, images, everything. That's the reason. So up to several years, HTML4 is the version we used. So almost several years. So till 2014, you can imagine now. That means up to 2014, there is no other version of HTML. Even today, 80%, even today, 80% of internet websites are designed with 4 only. They are built with 4 because HTML5 was introduced in 2014. HTML5 was introduced. And this HTML5 was a revolution. So because it has some more advanced features which fits for mobile tab-like devices. Earlier, HTML was not great for mobile tab smart devices, but it has some more advanced features, more SEO friendly, more search engine friendly. So, and contents become more, you can imagine up from 1997 to 2014, the 4 version is used means how stable it is and how good it is. Even today, several websites you will find in 4 only. So as a learner, when we are learning HTML, actually we are going to learn both HTML4 and 5 because in HTML4, whatever there, same continued in HTML5. In HTML5, they added some new things. That's the reason if you learn HTML5, you can handle both. So you don't need to learn like separately HTML4, HTML5. If you know HTML5 means you know all the features of HTML4. What's new they introduced in HTML5, I will separately highlight them when we are discussing. So HTML5 was initialized by these IETF people only, but later in 2017, so HTML 5.2 was introduced, and this was taken over by 2 groups, W3C and What WG. W3C and What WG. What WG. These 2 groups started maintaining this HTML 5.2. Up to that, IETF took the responsibility of building it. Now, these 2 groups are maintaining the HTML. So we are expecting a new version of HTML by the end of 2021, mostly November, December, because they are very much working on the new version of HTML with several advanced features, but still not yet ready. They are still in beta alpha releases. So we are expecting a new version by the end of 2021. So with some more advanced features. So currently the stable version of HTML is HTML 5.2. So W3C is World Wide Web Consortium. What WG? Web Hypertext Application Technology Work Group. These two people maintain HTML. So that means if you want to know anything about HTML, so better visit the official websites of these two. So they will provide you a correct information and clear information about the concept of HTML because they are building it and they are maintaining it. So better visit their websites. You can see you have their w3.org, w3.org. This is the official website of World Wide Web Consortium. And any changes, any new things are happening, they will let you know here. Another one is What WG. So What WG.org. So this is the community. And they are maintaining and evolving from 2004. But the official standards So they are contributing because it is open source, but they took official responsibility of HTML from 2014. From 2014, and they took the official responsibility of maintaining HTML, because when it is an open source, many people contribute. This is a community. A community usually contributes to the open sources and maintains that. So from 2017, they have took the complete responsibility of HTML5. So this group and the group W3. So you will get correct information about HTML. So you can get all the tutorial about HTML from this location. This is the official, right? Yeah. So this is basic over history of HTML. Now, after that, what happened is, after HTML, then came a concept called DHTML, but it is outdated now. It's no longer in use. It is obsolete. Obsolete. That means no longer in use. No longer in use. So DHTML is gone, no longer in use. DHTML is nothing but it was introduced to make HTML dynamic, but it failed immediately. It was not a great concept because dynamically we can manage with JavaScript in a better way. And HTML5 has several dynamic things also inbuilt available. So after HTML5 came, DHTML gone. So if anybody says that I am still teaching you DHTML, that is complete useless time waste, right? Why? Because so we don't need that. So that is not required at this level now. So that is gone already. So it's waste of time. Nobody is using also, right? So the concept is HTML and to make it dynamic JavaScript. So now the concept is, what is HTML? It is a markup language. What is purpose of HTML? It is used for context. So is going to present. This is very important. See, HTML is a collection, of elements. Generally, when people are learning HTML from here and there online, or somebody friends said about it, or online he have seen somewhere and all. Generally, when we ask what HTML contains, immediately people answer that, sir, tags. HTML is a collection of tags. This answer you will see very regularly. So that is wrong. HTML is not collection of tags. Actually, HTML is not collection of tags. HTML is a collection of elements. HTML is a collection of elements. That means, for example, so we have paragraph. Paragraph is an element. We have image. Image is an element. We have table. Table is an element. We have a form. Form is an element. So everything in HTML is an element actually. Everything in HTML is an element. So HTML is collection of elements. For example, you observe the page I have created just now. I'll open in browser, open with the live server. It opens that page, and you can see I right click and go to inspect, select inspect. This will open developer tools. Right click and select inspect. It will open the developer tools. These are developer tools. In these developer tools, you can see that. So it says that you can observe carefully. It is having welcome and all these options. You see, it is under elements category. So there will be no option like tag. Professionally, there will be no option like tag here. You will not see any tag word here anywhere. So that means whatever you are watching is elements. HTML is a collection of elements. Observe carefully. Are these elements presented normally Or is there any hierarchical order for these elements? Are you watching any order for these elements? Is there any hierarchical order for these elements? Is there any hierarchical order? You can see hierarchical order means parent child. Can you see any parent child hierarchy right side? Can you see any parent child hierarchy right side? Of course, you can see now, this is body. I click on this, it is expanding. That means body is a parent. In that parent, you have a child. Am I right? That is called parent-child hierarchy. Na? So, got a clarity? So, elements are arranged. Elements are arranged in an hierarchical order. Understood? Elements are arranged in a hierarchical order. That hierarchical order is called as, we call that hierarchical order as, so we call that hierarchical order as, HTML is a collection of elements arranged in a hierarchy, arranged in a hierarchy called DOM. In a hierarchy called DOM. We call this as document object model, DOM. This is very important. Document object model, DOM. HTML is a collection of elements. They arranged in a hierarchy called DOM. Document object model is an order of arranging elements. They have a certain order. So you can see, this is actually the HTML DOM. So this is the HTML DOM. You can see that is the DOM. This is the DOM hierarchy. Later you are going to learn about this hierarchy. No need to worry. But actually in this, there are two levels actually. This part, this document part belongs to HTML. This part belongs to HTML. This is called DOM. Outer part belongs to browser. It is called BOM. We call this as BOM. That is browser object model. And this is called DOM, document object model. So this belongs to HTML. DOM belongs to HTML. And browser object model that belongs to that browser object model belongs to it. So that is browser that belongs to browser. So if you are trying to present anything in HTML, it will be in a hierarchy called DOM, document object model. So many times people say that because when we are training people on advanced technologies like Angular, React, and .NET, and all these advanced technologies, generally for that HTML basically required. So HTML, JavaScript are required. We ask people like, so in HTML and JavaScript, so have you worked with DOM? Then immediately many times people say that, sir, I learned HTML, but I don't know what is DOM. So what is document object model? That's like joke, what you are talking about. That is completely like rubbish, right? You are saying that you know HTML and you don't know DOM. That means like silly thing, right? Because HTML is DOM. It is presenting everything in DOM. And you cannot say that I don't know DOM and I learned HTML. So people will laugh at this point at expert level when anybody hears this point. Why? Because I can say that 80 to 90% people who learned HTML casually here and there, they say that, sir, I know HTML, but I don't know this DOM. That's like joking, what you are joking, right? Why? Because you cannot say that I don't know DOM, but I know HTML. Because HTML is presenting DOM. HTML is presenting DOM. You are learning HTML means you are learning how to present this DOM, the document object model. So this is very important concept to understand. Very important concept to understand. So we will gradually learn about this DOM. and we will see step by step about this concept of working with DOM. So HTML is a collection of elements. These elements are arranged in a hierarchical order that is called DOM. Then generally people ask this question like, sir, then what is a tag? Actually, for example, image is an element. Image is an element. Now to present image element, we write syntactically. To present element, we write like this. So in an angle brace, we write img. This is tag. Actually, I will show you, because you need to understand a browser architecture. I will show you a simple point. Generally, so this is the browser architecture. Actually, this is the browser architecture. Detailedly, you will understand the browser architecture later. Actually, I will explain later. At this level, no need to know. Suppose you see here, this is the concept. Observe, actually what happens is, when you write something in English, so this, whatever you write in English is not understandable and it is not transferable in the same way. That means in the network, data transfers in the byte code only, byte code. It will transfer in the byte code. It will be like 0101 like that. I hope everyone knows that. Huh? So you know that, so data transfers through wire or wireless in the form of byte code from one location to another. That means from one machine to another, one server to another location. So now what happens is, you can observe here the browser, how it is going to work actually. So whatever the bytes you have written, so that means that is the byte code. And first, these bytes are transferred into characters. They are transferred into characters. Characters means angle bracket, P, again angle bracket, close. So word hello, something like this. These are characters. So after converting the bytes into characters, what it will do is, it will convert them into a tag. It will convert them into a tag. So P becomes a tag. This becomes a tag. After it becomes a tag, that means converting the characters into tag. This mechanism is called tokenization at high level. Remember, this is very experienced level, because basic level HTML people don't know the word called tokenization. That's too much. Even experienced people also don't know, right? So, but knowing about the architecture behind how HTML is translated, that is a good point. So the bytes are transferred into characters. The characters are converted into tags. So this mechanism is called tokenization. After converting to tags, these tags are attached to the DOM as a node. Node means they are attached as a child. These tags are attached as a child, and they are converted into DOM elements now. They are converted into DOM elements. Detailed architecture later you will learn. But you should know that first from byte code, they will convert into characters. From characters, they will convert into tags. From tags, they are converted into elements. So finally, what you see on screen is a tag or element. Finally, what you see on screen is a tag or element. What do you say? Finally, what do you see on a screen is a tag or element. So on screen, whatever you see is element, is an element. So that's what I am saying all this time. Huh? What you are doing, sleeping up. So I said that whatever you see on screen, DOM is a collection of elements. Whatever you see on a HTML page is a collection of elements. Understood, everyone? Understood? Got a clarity of it? Elements are built with tags. Elements are built with tags. Tags are built with characters. Characters. And tags is called, converting the characters into tags is called tokenization. Yes, good. And the characters are built from bytes, right? So from the bytes, the characters are built, from characters to tags to elements. So finally, what you see on a page is elements. That's the reason here you will see the word elements only. You will not see any tags word. That is because that is all the translator's work. It is going to convert them and it is going to display them. So HTML is a collection of tags. Right? So you don't need to understand the byte code now. That is too much at your level. Okay, na? Just leave it. Don't give more stress on that. Your level is not enough to understand the byte code configurations. Huh? It's waste of time to explain you also. So forget about that. So that requires good electronics knowledge. Huh? So and so much of time investment is required for understanding the byte conversions. So don't go so much in depth about that. At your level, that's not required. Huh? So you don't need to understand how bytecode is generated. That is too much at your level. Okay, not required for you. And that is for the people who learn machine learning. So like Python, machine learning, and all. For those people, they have to know about that. For you, it's take it easy, right? Leave it. So this is the basic thing, how it works, how it configures and manages everything. So the point here is, so HTML is a collection of elements. And elements in HTML are classified into different groups. We have normal elements. We have void elements. We have RC data elements. What are those? We are going to learn. And raw text elements, and foreign elements. These are all the various types of elements. Normal, void, RC data, raw text, and foreign elements. Now, elements in HTML are categorized into several groups depending on their behavior. Now, we are going to learn how to use these elements and build a page. So we are going to learn how to use these elements, what is difference between them, and how to use the elements and how to work with them. That we will see in our next session. Okay. From next session, we are going to start practically building the web pages. So next session onwards, practically we will start. Our admin will today send you the code of classroom code, Google Classroom code. So what you have to do is open Google Classroom. I hope everyone know that Google Classroom. This is the official classroom.google.com. In that, you sign in with your Google account. Right side, you will see there will be an option plus symbol. In that, join class will be there. Click on join class. It will ask a class code. Our admin will send you that class code today to you, to your emails or message. You can join the class code with that class code. Then you will get all the classroom related notes that we are discussing every day. Okay. I will upload a document there that contains all that information. So next session, we will start practically working with HTML and dealing with HTML. Okay. And next session, tomorrow we don't have session. Only this Saturday we are not having. Our next session will be on Monday. Okay. Monday we will meet. Monday I will check how many people missed out the first sessions. I will take a backup later. And Monday we will start practically working with HTML now. Okay. Monday we will continue.